To make a change to the date, time, site, or facility of a game after the sync deadline, you'll need to process that change with your opponent. To initiate a change request, first go to the schedule with the game you want to change. On that schedule, find the game you want to change and click on the Change Date, Time, Site, and/or Facility link. In the resulting pop-up window, enter whatever changes you want to suggest to your opponent. If you haven't already discussed the changes with your opponents, you may also want to put in a comment explaining to them the reason. After you've entered your suggestions, click on the Submit Request button to send the changes to your opponent. No changes will be made to the schedules at this time. When your opponent receives the request, they will need to act on it before any changes will be finalized. When you receive a schedule change request from an opponent, you can act on it either by clicking on the action link in the email or by clicking the process button for the change in the list of pending changes near the top of the General tab in the Eligibility Center. The pending change list will show all pending changes, whether they were submitted by you or your opponent. However, there will only be process buttons for changes which your school needs to act on next. When you go to process the changes, you'll have three options. You can accept the change your opponent suggested by clicking the Accept Above Changes button, and optionally adding a comment which will go to your opponent. As soon as you accept the changes, notifications will go out to the appropriate officials assigner and anyone subscribed to receive the scheduled changes. You can reject the change by clicking on the Reject Change Request button. You'll then be asked to confirm your rejection of the change and have the opportunity to enter a comment to explain to your opponent why you're rejecting the change. If you reject the change, the pending change will be removed from the system and there will be no pending change for this game anymore. If someone wants to make a change in the future, they'll need to start the process all over. Your third option is to suggest an alternative change to your opponent. If this change can't be accepted for some reason, but you want to suggest an alternative to your opponent, click on the Suggest Alternate Changes button, and you'll be taken to a form similar to the original change request form, where you can suggest a different set of changes. Once you put in your alternative changes, click on the Submit Alternative Change button. The alternative changes will go to your opponent in an email with a change link for processing. Throughout this entire process, all communication is private between the schools involved, and no one outside of the schools will see any changes on the schedules until both schools have agreed. As soon as one school agrees to the changes suggested by the other, the changes will be made on both schools' schedules, and notifications will be sent to all appropriate parties, such as the officials assigner responsible for the contest, and anyone who is registered to receive changes for the schools and/or sports involved.